Welcome back, guys. It is Tuesday, and that means we are talking about the news, the transportation news, that is. We've got progress being made on new interstates in Indiana and Pennsylvania. Then we've got Atlanta in the news again, where they're trying to take another stab at fixing their horrible traffic situation that I've gone over several times on this channel already. Atlanta and traffic are like peanut butter and jelly. And lastly, America's largest light rail network in Dallas might be in jeopardy. Some of the suburbs around the city said they aren't getting their fair share, so they want their money back. But will they get it? All that coming up, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the news. Right, so a few weeks ago, we talked about I-69 in Indiana, and the state was excited and happy to announce that they had completed I-69. Well, it turns out there's just a little bit more work to be done. Let's take a look.
I-69 Ohio River project work is currently underway in some areas of the tri-state. 44 News reporter Ben Lawfer goes behind the scenes and has the latest updates new at 5.
Work on the Evansville portion of the Ohio River Crossing project is temporarily paused due to all the high water we've experienced in the past week. However, officials tell us they planned for this, and they expect the project to resume as early as this week.
Officials broke ground on the Evansville portion of the project, also known as Section 3, back in September.
You can see that progress when we're not covered with the high water. So obviously right now we're underwater. Most of Section 3 is actually in a floodplain.
Construction was paused on the 17th.
Oh, Mindy's very excited. So let me show you exactly what they're talking about here. So let's go to the website. And what they're talking about is Section 3 of the I-69 Ohio River Crossing. So you see right here, here's an interchange that they're building. But let's go down to the map. So if you see right here, here's the current I-69, and they run it over here to this interchange despite it not going to end up being over here. And this is your old, outdated, dangerous US 41 Ohio River Crossing that I talked about in the I-69 video. So pretty much what they're doing, they're going to build a new interchange here, and they're building bridges over the floodplain to connect to the actual Ohio River Bridge. Now the bridge itself is going to be in Kentucky, so that's going to be on them to complete that side. But Indiana's building the bridges leading up to the main bridge, the main span. And they're going to also have these bridges, even though they're going to be constructed already, traffic won't be allowed to use these bridges until the actual project is completed. So you see down here, when you cross over here, you get into Henderson, Kentucky. And the construction's already started. It started back in 2024, last summer. So in a couple years, we will have a brand new shiny bridge over the Ohio River near Evansville, I-69. Let's go back to the video.
Due to flooding. However, it's not expected to delay the project. They also do not expect any damage to heavy equipment staged in the area. Water levels currently dropping around 2 feet a day.
You know, what's on wheels and easy to move, we get out of here. It's a challenge when you have the high water, but this is something that crews have prepared for. They know it's coming. It's part of the schedule.
Construction is expected to be around 60% complete by the end of this year and fully completed on the Indiana side by the end of 2026.
What we're building now is not something that drivers are going to use immediately, but it's so critically important to building that I-69 bridge. By this summer, when people are driving by on I-69, they will see 3 interchange bridges just taking shape right before their eyes.
The current schedule calls for construction on the actual bridge itself to begin in 2027. The entire project is expected to wrap in 2031. However, both states are always looking for ways to accelerate the project. Reporting in Evansville, Ben Lawfer, 44 News.
All right, I-69 Indiana. 2026, it will be really complete. But that's a good update. The people out there seem to be very excited. So let's get on to the next story, where we're going up to Pennsylvania. Now, recently we talked about Pennsylvania, where they announced that they were fixing Breezewood. Well, that's not the only interchange that Pennsylvania is fixing. They're actually working on Interstate 99, which is one of the most egregious violations of the interstate numbering system, but we'll take it. Let's see what's going on here in Pennsylvania.
Starting next week, PennDOT will begin work on a high-speed interchange project on Interstate 80 and I-99. The project will enhance traffic safety by providing a direct connection between the two highways, making it unnecessary to travel along Route 26. It will also help with the flow of traffic. Work expected to finish up in 2030.
Okay, so let's go take a look at that interchange. Get back onto the map. Get out of Evansville. It is in Center County. Is how you pronounce that. So it's up here. Interstate 80. Okay, yeah, here we go. So here's the area in question. So right now, Interstate 99 runs up here, and I'm sure this isn't signed as Interstate 99 because it has grade crossing still. But as it is right now, if you want to travel between the two interstates, you have to get off onto this Highway 26. And you see his grade crossing is probably a traffic light there. Oh, no, not even a traffic signal. Okay. So clearly not up to interstate standards right now. But let's take a look at what the video didn't actually show the project. So let me see what the design looks like. Show you guys. Okay, here we go. Center Regional Council of Governments. Map. All right, here we go. We have a map. Belafonte Interchange Project. Let's zoom in here. Okay, here we go. So here's the area that I showed you on the map. This is Interstate 69. So you're gonna have a new actual interchange between the two interstates. So that's your high-speed interchange. Looks like it's gonna be the same standard design you typically see when there's a T intersection of interstates. Except you have what looks like a path for Route 26 to go over the interstate. Right here, it has its own bridges. Okay. Then they're going to improve Jacksonville Road, which goes through here. And is that a new interchange right there? Let's see. Okay, so they must be improving this interchange as well. So here's your high-speed interchange, then your local access interchange for 26 and I-80, and that's your standard diamond interchange. Oh, it's already completed. This was completed in December 2022. So these two areas of the project are what we're talking about. Okay, so Pennsylvania's at work. They're fixing Breezewood and they're fixing Interstate 99. Not bad at all, not bad at all. Now for this next story, we're going down to big old Texas, and this one has to do with transit in the Dallas area. Got some bad news for you guys, got some bad news. So this video is about DART, and DART, for those who aren't aware, DART stands for Dallas Area Rapid Transit, which is the transit authority in Dallas. And if you didn't know, Dallas actually has the largest light rail network in the United States. But let's see what's going on. We're talking about money here. It's always about the money.
A North Texas lawmaker has filed a bill that would reduce what DART, Dallas Area Rapid Transit, could collect in taxes from its member cities. The cities say they want the money back to do what DART is not doing in their areas. DART says the loss in funds would be devastating. Fox 4's Sean Rabb joins us live with more. Sean.
Good evening to you, Clarice. In this proposed legislation, DART could lose about a fourth of what it gets in sales tax from its member cities. Now, not all of the 13 cities in DART's service circle, if you will, are balking at the dollars DART gets or how DART uses them. But if this legislation makes it through the session and becomes law, it would go in effect in September.
DART delivers some 220,000 people on buses and trains to their destinations daily. The transit agency says proposed legislation that would cut by 25% what it collects from its member cities would mean changes that would go deep.
There would be significant impacts across the board to our workforce, as well as job access and the service levels that we provide.
DART's president and CEO Nadine Lee says up to 1,000 jobs could be slashed. For the passengers, it could take twice as long to get the bus or train you need.
We filed legislation. It really addresses all the cities that make up the DART system.
The bill to reduce what DART collects in taxes by 25%, written by State Rep Matt Shaheen, following non-binding votes by 6 of DART's 13 member cities to reduce what DART gets from them in sales tax.
All right, guys, so you see what's going on here. Basically, DART is funded by the cities that it serves. There's I want to say it was a 1 cent sales tax or 1% or something like that in the area that helped fund DART. And these suburban cities here, Plano, Irving, Carrollton, etc., they don't feel like they're getting what they're paying for with DART. So what they want to do is they want to take that money that they're paying in sales tax to DART and return it to their own coffers. Now, many cities across the country are facing budget deficits or shortfalls, so everyone's looking for a way to get more money. Now, 25% drop in service for this is huge. The first thing you're probably going to see if you use DART, the trains or the buses, you're probably going to see lower frequency, because to have higher frequency, you need to pay someone to drive these buses, to conduct these trains. So 25% is huge, but let's finish out the video.
The cities say what DART's providing doesn't match the payout. Shaheen points to Plano.
They tax their residents at 1%. 1% of that sales tax goes to DART. And that's about over $100 million that goes to DART. The problem is that the city of Plano, the constituents, only receive about 40% of that back in the form of services. So there's this net deficit that's been occurring for years.
The DART board had conversations about the various asks that the cities have, and the DART board ultimately decided that we would prefer to provide more services to our cities rather than give cash to the cities, and that we would be happy to work with our cities.
It's a difficult balance. We obviously are going to fight hard for the transportation authorities, but we got cities that are, arguing equity with regard to how much they're paying into the system.
Mike Morris of the North Central Texas Council of Governments says cutting funding would have unintended consequences.
We don't know what DART would have to do if it got a significant cut. If it does X, it may not have a lot of consequences. If it does Y, it could have horrible consequences. And I don't think any of the parties fully understand the extent of these potential consequences.
So the best solution is for DART and the cities to kind of work it out right here. And Mike Morris says that's what he expects is going to happen. He's going to get the Regional Transportation Authority involved and try to get everybody at the table and work it out here, not in Austin, not in front of the legislature. DART, by the way, is the big part of the game plan for next year when World Cup Soccer comes to North Texas. At least it is right now with its current funding and current.
So wow, there it is, guys. It is always about the money. So basically these cities feel like they're not getting their money's worth. So they're talking about $100 million. And obviously they want that money to use it on other things, probably to use it on their roads. But this could have some dire consequences for the transit. And honestly, when the World Cup does come to the Dallas area, if the transit, it's already bad that Arlington has zero transit, not even buses. But if you don't have your transit in order when the World Cup comes, it's going to be pretty embarrassing for the city. But even though I spent a lot of time in Dallas when I was in Texas, I never rode on DART. Didn't need to. But if you guys live in the area, let me know what you think about the service. Is it like your typical American public transit experience, or is it actually nice? And now, with being Texas, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this bill, but we'll be keeping an eye on it to let you know if DART is about to change forever or if they work out a deal with the suburbs who want their money back. And actually, let me check Google and see if it shows DART on Google Maps. Get to this view, go into transit. Okay, it does. Okay, so you can see where DART has lines in the Dallas area right now. Everything converges in downtown. Plano, which is in charge of this, want their money back, is at the end of the line up here to the north. So it runs through Richardson. And I will say this about DART in this area, at least in Richardson and to a degree in Plano. These areas have been densifying. I saw a lot of large apartment buildings and stuff popping up around the light rail stops in these cities. And as you can see, it runs to the airport. And then it connects to Fort Worth, but this isn't DART. They have their own transit system. And it runs all the way up to Denton. Pretty sizable network, especially for Texas. Who would have thought, right? Largest light rail network in the country, guys. DART. So we'll see what happens. If they can't work it out, then it's going to Austin. All right, for our last story, we are in the South. And we are in a place that I just love talking about, and that is Atlanta. Now, we talked about Atlanta multiple times on this channel and my other channel, and Atlanta has major traffic issues, and there's not much that they can do about it other than improve interchanges and try to make what they already have more efficient in terms of design. And this time, they're talking about rebuilding the west interchange between I-20 and I-285. Let's take a look at that project.
All right, let's get to our other top story. Tonight at 6 o'clock, the state is now hoping a $1.2 billion project will help solve the gridlock along Atlanta's west side. Now, the redesign is expected to ease congestion that's been a headache for years now at Interstate 20 and Interstate 285 from Adamsville to Bankhead and beyond. 11 Alive's Doug Richards has more on what to expect.
Use I-20 much?
Every day, sir.
David Carter is behind the wheel of one of the hundreds of trucks that materialize every workday on I-20 west of Atlanta.
It's horrible in the mornings. It's backed all the way up to Douglasville most of the time. In the afternoon, it's going out.
Carter has had to navigate a highway designed decades ago, which joins another outdated, busy highway encircling the city, Interstate 285. It's a chronic logjam even when traffic is relatively light.
Now,
all right, so let me show you what we're looking at here. Exactly what they're talking about. Let's go on down to Atlanta. So we're talking about this interchange right here. So contrary to popular belief, Atlanta does not have a great freeway network. Their network is designed for their 1980 population, which Atlanta had about 2 to 3 million less people then than they have now. So it's very outdated, as is this interchange here. So here's what you're working with right now. You saw some overhead shots of it in the video. And the trucker, he told you that it backs up to Douglasville. So for perspective, this is Douglasville. So he's telling you that he's waiting in the line of traffic all the way out here just to get through this outdated interchange here. Let's see what the traffic looks like right now. Look at that. Right now. Well, it's 2:49 p.m. Eastern time. And look at that. Middle of the day, Atlanta. So, yeah, there you go. But if you're in Atlanta, you're familiar with heavy traffic. It's a part of just being in Atlanta. Let's finish out the video.
5:30 in the morning is still crowded.
To relieve this bit of gridlock, the Georgia Department of Transportation has approved a contract to rebuild the interchange of I-20 and 285, repositioning some exit ramps, creating feeder lanes, and expanding the traffic capacity of the two highways, says GDOT's Natalie Dale.
There is a good balance of both redesign of the interchange and increased capacity to address a multitude of problems.
Dale says some of the redesign is specific to the needs of the tractor trailers. They clog the interchange even on good days, says Sharon Wright of Douglasville.
So we got 18-wheelers. That's the worst thing about the traffic, is 18-wheelers. It's a lot of them.
Wright says she can't ever get on the highway without checking her traffic app first. She'll still need to do that when construction starts next year and continues through 2030.
All right, so there it is, guys. You saw that new design. You're going to get some commuter lanes. You're going to get some widening in certain spots to address this 2 p.m. traffic in Atlanta. I don't know how you guys do it. So if you look at it right now, you can see that it's a 6-lane roadway. And in that rendering, okay, we got 8 lanes right there. Okay, so it is 8 lanes. So they're going to leave that the same size, but they're probably going to, if you add those commuter lanes, that will make it a lot easier to merge on the different highways. As of right now, this is designed for a metro area of like 3 million people. Way outdated for Atlanta. All right, guys, those are your updates for the week. Interstate 69, Interstate 99, DART, and Interstate 20 in Atlanta. Let me know what you think in the comments, especially about this DART situation. Do you think that it's right for those cities to want their money back? Or should they continue contributing and for the good of the service as a whole? And also, if you live in Atlanta, what do you think about this I-20, I-285 interchange redesign? Is this something you want to see, or should they just leave it as it is? Well, I guess it's too late to leave it as it is. It's already in progress, so that's not a thing. And also let me know how excited you are for I-99, the highest numbered interstate on the system, making some more progress in Pennsylvania. Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you on the next one.